Hello, everyone. I'm Major Garrett in Washington. Let me welcome you to The Takeout. It doesn't happen often, what you're about to see on this program. Typically, our relentless curiosity in the pell-mell of news has us pinballing in all sorts of different directions. Segments tend to jump about. And we love that. I know you do too. But today is different. From the Supreme Court to states as laboratories of democracy to what a politics for working people looks and sounds like, to the rights of individuals and a founding father who argued for the adoption of the Constitution and a strong central government, this show is about the mechanisms and meaning, the evolution of the American experiment. Jan Crawford on the big decisions wrapping up the Supreme Court term. Kristen Clark, General Counsel of the NAACP, on the clear constitutionality of birthright citizenship. A conversation about democratic socialism with Ashik Sadiq, a national leader of Democratic Socialists of America. Idaho's Attorney General, Raul Labrador, a key litigant in a case involving transgender students and competitive sports. Also, Daniel Squadron, a former member of the New York legislature, on why states drive more political outcomes than the federal government. Lastly, our bicentennial minute and a nod to one of my favorite founding fathers, and this was true long before the musical, Alexander Hamilton. This gels so perfectly, this whole show. There's no time to waste. We begin with our chief legal correspondent, Jan Crawford. Jan, welcome.
All right, I'm not going to waste any time.
Let's go.
It's another great show ahead.
Let's go to it. Let's go to the case you prefer to lead with, either transgender or birthright citizenship.
Well, you said transgender first, so why don't we just... And the court did that one first, so let's just start and we'll go in order. I mean, obviously, a major ruling. The court likes to save its most contentious decisions to the end. They're the most divisive, and this was one of them. The justices in a 6-3 decision written by Justice Brett Kavanaugh, said that Idaho, you'll be interviewing the Attorney General, West Virginia, the other state who had a similar ban, and 25 other states, they can now ban transgender participation in girls' sports, that it does not violate the Constitution or that landmark 1972 law known as Title IX, which really leveled the playing field for girls and women's sports. So this, in many ways, but also they didn't say anything about the other states that don't have these laws. They kind of said, we'll talk about that another day, which means that states will get to decide if they want to allow transgender participation or not.
So if a state writes a law that does allow it and is specific about that, the court is now, for the moment, that's okay.
And that's how they handled the last major transgender ruling, when they said states could decide whether or not they wanted to ban hormones and puberty blockers, so-called gender-affirming care for minors. They're going to let the states decide. Some states ban it, some states don't. Same here. 27 states ban transgender participation in girls' sports. Those laws are fine. The other states, they can continue to allow transgender athletes to participate. However, there is going to be litigation in those 23 states, so that issue is not decided.
As you know far better than I do, Jan, there's a term of art, rational interest. States have a rational interest, as I understand the court saying, in looking at safety and fair play.
Justice Kavanaugh said in his opinion that, listen, we have separate, the law allows separate sports for boys, girls, men, women, and there's a rational reason for that. It's not like in the workplace, where, you know, you can't really separate people based on sexes. But for sports, it's rational that states and institutions would care about things like fairness and safety. So it's entirely rational for a state to have separate, or an institution to have separate girls and boys sports teams. And if you're going to draw that line, it's rational to do it on biological sex. And so that's what they've allowed these states to continue doing, these 27 states to continue doing.
On birthright citizenship, on the constitutional question, 5-4. On the
closer than I expected.
Existing federal law, question 6-3.
That's right. And the justices, a landmark decision by the Chief Justice, John Roberts, joined by Trump appointee Amy Coney Barrett, and the 3 liberal justices, ruling that the Constitution's 14th Amendment, the Citizenship Clause, was clear. That if you are long-held view of citizenship, that if you're born in this country on U.S. soil, then you are a U.S. citizen. And they emphatically rejected Trump's arguments that he should be able to, like, rewrite that long-held understanding with, you know, the sign of a Sharpie an executive order,
right?
An executive order that would have limited birthright citizenship, denying it to people who were here undocumented or perhaps here temporarily. The court said, no way, we're not going to do that. Now, Justice Kavanaugh, another Trump appointee, would have kind of stopped short of reaching that constitutional question. He saw an easier way to do it, an off-ramp, by looking at a federal law that Congress passed in 1940, mirroring the language of the Constitution, reenacted in 1952. But the Chief Justice and those 4 justices saw no reason not to just like swing for the fences and go ahead and decide that constitutional issue. So that really kind of puts to rest, is there a role for Congress here? I mean, we saw the president today suggesting, oh, yeah, well, Congress can do something immediately. I mean,
he is accepting the constitutionality of birthright citizenship and the court's word on that being final.
Well, right, but he's suggesting that maybe there's a role for Congress, and I guess Congress could try to jumpstart a constitutional amendment process, or maybe look at something with so-called birth tourism. But there's not, the courts shut that window pretty tightly, that birthright citizenship is what we've long thought. If you're born here, you're a U.S. citizen, and a president can't, with the stroke of a pen, say otherwise. Yeah.
Jan Crawford, great stuff as always. Thank you so much.